All right, here is an optional playlist in our chat there if you want to cue up music. And there's no necessary props today, but if you like to use things like blocks, they could be handy. So if that's the case, just grab a couple of those or just anything to bring the ground a little closer to you, and just one on each side of the mat within arm's reach. And we will begin lying on our back, just like Shavasana, so heels extended. And we're just going to focus on the area on our back to begin. Take your time to stretch out. And when you're comfortable, let the eyes shut, and we'll give a few deep breaths and focus on that breath going into the back of your body. So feel that expansion into the mat. And everything just returns back as you exhale. Bring your awareness to all the areas on your body that are being held by the mat or held by the ground. Take about 2 more deep breaths, just focusing in on the back of the body as it's supported there, resting. And now switching, thinking about the area on the front of the body. As you breathe in, the chest expands out into this vast space. And as you exhale, everything returns back. Now bringing your awareness just to all the spaces on the front of your body. So those areas that are in contact just with the air in the room. Perhaps there's some sensation there if there's a little cross breeze. And today, as we move, our main focus will be on strengthening and stretching out both sides of our body, the front and the back. Let's bring a bend into the knees, stack the feet right under them. And keep your hands down by your side. We're going to begin just by pressing up into a bridge. Feel free to roll up or press up in one piece. Hold yourself at this long line from the knees down to your collarbone. And we're going to hold up here for a couple more breaths. Imagine you're dragging your heels towards your shoulders. So we're really waking up and strengthening into the hamstrings, into the glutes, and the whole posterior chain. One more deep breath there. And use your exhale to lower the hips back down. Now we'll float the feet off the mat, stack the knees on top of your hips so that it's like a floating tabletop. You can draw the knees together, squeeze them there, and then bring your hands to the top of the knees. Press your hands into the knees, resist that pressure. Now we're really waking up the front of our body, area into our core, into our center line. Keep breathing. Good. We'll release, bring those feet back under the knees, hands down by your side, press up into another bridge, hips in line with the rest of the torso, and find that engagement again. Pull those heels towards your shoulders. Good. The hips can lower down. And then we'll find that same shape again. Just float the knees on top of the hips, squeeze them together as the hands make their way there, and press while you resist in this kind of upside down tabletop shape. One more deep breath. Good. Now let's bring both thighs into your chest, wrap your arms around for a moment. And while you're here, just take your hands behind the fold of each knee and give a little gentle massage to those hamstrings, the areas in the back of the thigh that might be feeling a little tighter after that activation. Squeeze, gentle massage. Good. And in any way that makes sense to you, we're going to come on up to sit on the shins. So you might rock and roll the spine or use your hands to press. Good. And we're going to sit back onto our heels. All right. Bring our hands to the knees. Hold on tight. And as you inhale, send the chest forwards, draw the shoulder blades together. A little back bend as you look up. And then as you exhale, send the spine back rounding through the belly. So it's a little seated cat and cow. Hold onto the thighs. As you inhale, send the chest back forward. Spread the collarbone wide. And exhale, dome through the belly, send the spine back. Let's do that a couple more times. Stretching out the canvas at the front of the body on the inhale. And then on the exhale, rocking back, stretching out the canvas at the back of our body. Good. One more round with your breath. Good. All right. So we'll find a neutral spine, so that area where all the vertebrae are stacked on top, and then stand up tall onto your shins, feet about hip distance. Good. So we'll keep our hands to waist, and we're going to begin by just lifting that spine up, keeping everything in line. So wake up the glutes and the thighs. We're going to lean back, keep everything in one line. Good. And then use those big muscles to pull yourself back up. Good. Do that one more time like that. Lean back. Pull yourself up. Bring a little bit more weight into the left shin, and we're going to slide the right foot forwards into a lunge. Take your hands up overhead. Clasp the palms together, so lacing up those fingers, and then bring your hands behind your head. We're going to squeeze the elbows in as well. Then start leaning back into that area, this little cradle you've created for your head. Start stretching under the arms, lifting the chest up to the sky. And to keep nice and rooted, keep waking up your glutes and your thighs to hold you here. Take one more deep breath all the way down to the belly. Good. Now we'll look straight ahead. So lengthen the spine out, reach the hands back up, but keep the fingertips clasped. And we're going to reach the arms forward. Good. Now flip the palms. The palms are facing away from you. As you do this, spread the shoulder blades really wide. So press further away. Now we're going to invite that dome back into the belly. Send the spine backwards like it's a sail. One more breath. And we can release. Lift the spine back up and bring your hands down either to the ground, one on each side of your foot, or if you are using blocks today or anything just to bring the ground a little higher, your palms might find them there. As you inhale, come a little bit deeper into your lunge, send the hips forward. And then as you exhale, send the hips back slightly for a hamstring stretch. Just rock back and forth a few more times. So inhale, come a little deeper into the hips. And exhale, hips go back slightly, just opening up the back of the right leg. Two more with breath. Inhale, lunge forward. Exhale, draw the hips back. Last round, inhale, lunge forward. And exhale, pull them back. Good. Now rebend that front knee. If you're using blocks like I am, they can move out of the way. And we're going to slide that right knee back to tabletop. So really plant those palms and slide it back. With control, let's bend the elbows, lower all the way down to your stomach. And when you arrive, we're going to reach both arms forward and reach the toes back behind. Now point the thumbs up towards the sky. Get as long as you can in the body. We're going to pick up the right hand and left toes, so opposites on the inhale. Then as you exhale, bring them back down to the ground. Switch sides, left hand, right leg. Inhale to lift. Exhale, lower. Let's go back to the right side. Inhale, lift the right hand, left leg. Exhale, lower. One more time on the other side. Inhale to lift. Exhale, lower. Now let's bring the hands under the shoulders. There's a bend in the elbows. Draw the shoulder blades together. Start lifting the spine as you inhale for a small cobra. Roll it up. And exhale, roll the spine back down. Two more like that. Inhale, lift the spine. Exhale, lower. One to go. Inhale. And exhale, lower. This time we'll press all the way back. Just sit back onto our heels and walk those hands towards you at the back of the mat. All right, we can do that again on the other side. Stand tall on top of your shins, hands to waist. So we're starting by finding the strength, everything in one line, growing tall. And we'll lean back, keep everything together, and use the strength of your glutes and thighs to pull you back up. Good. One more lean back, just like that. And pull yourself up. The weight shifts to the right knee, so you can step the left foot forward. Good. Now reach the arms up overhead. Clasp the hands together, and then bring that little cradle of your hands behind your head and squeeze in of the elbows. Begin to lift the chest up, lean back into those hands. Take a couple deep breaths all the way down to the belly as the whole lower half is just toned and keeping you solid and rooted down. Good, so lift the spine vertically. Straighten the arms, but keeping the hands together. Then reach them forwards as you flip the palms away. Start pressing that imaginary wall ahead of you away as you separate the shoulder blades a little more, and then send the spine back just like a sail again. One more deep breath. Good. The hands can unlace, bring them to the ground or perhaps your blocks. Use your inhale to come a little deeper into the hips, lunging forward. And exhale, send the hips back any amount to work into that hamstring. Inhale, rock forwards into the hips. Exhale, breathing into those hamstrings. Two more like that. Inhale, come a little deeper forwards. Exhale, rock it back. Last round here. Inhale. And exhale. Good. We'll come back forwards, bend your front knee, plant those palms so you can slide that left knee all the way back behind in tabletop. Send the chest forwards as you bend your elbows, lower to the ground, and then we'll stretch our arms out ahead again. So palms are facing each other, thumbs point up, wiggle your toes back and your fingers forward. Now let's begin by lifting the left hand and right leg opposite. And exhale, lower down. Going to the right side, right hand, left leg. Exhale, lower down. One more each side. Good, and when you're all even out there, bring the hands under the shoulders and squeeze them together. We're going to do 3 more baby cobras, lifting on the inhale and lowering on the exhale, but let's really challenge our spine to do the lifting the whole time. So you might even hover the palms. Good, so after you've done about 3 of those, you can press our way back. This time, from tabletop, we can tuck our toes under and send the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Alrighty, we can let the feet wander for a moment, just stretch out the backs of the legs that we've been strengthening so much. Begin looking forwards. We can pedal all the way to meet our hands. Eventually find yourself in a nice deep forward fold. We'll just ragdoll to begin. Let everything slowly lengthen a little bit more. And if you'd like to go for a deeper forward fold, feel free to scoop up your big toes with your fingers and thumb to loop around. And that way you can use a little bit more muscle in the arms to draw the crown of your head down and tailbone up. Now, whether you're in this sort of passive forward fold or holding onto the toes, let's be here for 2 more breaths. Let's let go of what we're holding on to. Inhale, bring your hands to your shins as you halfway lift the spine. Exhale, float back down. And inhale, drive into the heels, rise to stand, arms stretch overhead. Exhale, bring your hands down by your side. Good, alrighty. So keeping our feet about hip distance, we'll bring a bend into the knees, sit back into an imaginary chair, arms by the ears. So keep one long line from the fingertips down through the tailbone. Sit a little bit lower and challenge yourself to go just a little bit lower. Straighten the legs as you fold forwards over them. And we're going to step the left leg all the way back behind you to a lunge. Now, opportunity to use those blocks again if you're using them. Otherwise, tent up onto your finger pads. And as you inhale, we're going to send the hips forward slightly, shine the heart to the front, look ahead. And then exhale, straighten both legs, rock onto your front heel for a hamstring stretch. Inhale, we'll rebend that front knee, look forward. And exhale, straighten that front leg any amount. Good. Inhale, bend that front knee, look straight ahead. Last round here. Exhale, come into your hamstring stretch. Rebend your right knee. Begin lifting the spine up slightly, still leaning forward. And we're going to float the hands back behind us in a runner's lunge. Let's hold here for a moment, gather the shoulder blades together. Good, letting a little bit of heat build. One more deep breath. And then as you inhale, we'll lengthen the spine out as you reach to the sky, high lunge. Good, let's bring the hands back together. So clasp the fingertips together. Bring those hands to the back of the head, and we're going to find that same shape. Squeeze the elbows in and begin peeling the chest open to the sky. One more deep breath here. Good, look straight ahead. Take the back bend out, keeping the fingertips laced as you straighten the elbows and reach the hands forwards as you flip the palms. Good, so flipping those palms, press the wall away, separate the shoulder blades, send the spine back like a sail. Good, all right, we can let all this go. Reach the arms by the ears, fingertips can unclasp now. Now we're gonna let the arms get a little loosey-goosey. Just swing the arms opposite sides. Don't worry too much about it, but keep the feet rooted. Good, so letting all that go. And then eventually we're gonna find the left arm ahead, right arm back into a spinal twist. When you get there, keep reaching the arms away. And you can look anywhere from ahead of you to the side of the room or back behind you towards the right thumb. Good, now keep the arms where they are. Spin yourself back forwards. Keep expanding through the arms left and right. Now keep the arms where they are. We're going to open up to the left side of the mat, pivot both toes into a straddle. Good, so expanding through the arms, expanding through the legs as well as the top of your head. And now we can bring the hands to waist. Take a deep breath in, keep growing taller. And as you breathe out from the waist, let's fold forwards over our legs together. The fingertips can drop down as the head gets heavier. And for this first round, let's just dangle, slowly opening up the backs of the legs again and letting the spine just decompress. Good. We can begin to lengthen out that spine again. So walk your fingertips forwards, getting longer from top of the head through your tailbone. Look towards your right foot. We'll rotate around back into a lunge. And let's make it a wider lunge. So the right foot comes all the way to the edge of the mat, both hands on the inside under the shoulders. Good. Let's wiggle your left toes back behind you as well. So this is a lizard lunge, really active through both legs. We're going to stay fully up onto the palms for a moment. One more deep breath into this space. Good. Plant your palms, step your right leg back, downward facing dog. Inhale, ripple forward, shoulders over wrists and plank. And exhale, either lower to chaturanga or to your stomach. Inhale, it could be upward facing dog or one small cobra. And exhale, hips rise up and back, downward facing dog. Good. From here, we're all going to melt our knees back to the ground, landing in tabletop. Then walk your hands back towards your knees. So we can stand back tall on top of our shins and hands back to waist. All right, the exact same thing that we started with. That tailbone is reaching down, glutes and thighs are awake. We're going to lean back and pull ourselves back up. One more like this, everything in one line, lean back. Pull yourself tall. Lean over to the left shin and step the right foot forward towards a lunge. Both hands can come down to the ground. And we're going to spring the left foot forwards as well into a forward fold. As we inhale, we'll halfway lift the spine. Exhale, float back down. And inhale, drive through the heels, come all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands down by your side. Good. Feet about hip distance. Bend into the knees, sit back into your chair. Good. We're going to hold this for a couple more breaths. So challenge yourself to go a little deeper. Shift the weight into the heels. Keep bending those knees. Fantastic. Now straighten the legs as you fold forwards over them. Slide your right leg all the way back behind. Good. Now your hands could either find those blocks again or just tense into the fingers. Inhale, send the hips a little deeper, shine the heart forward. And as you exhale, straighten the front leg any amount, maybe you rock onto your heel. So move back and forth about 3 more times in total, slowly opening up the back of your left leg. Let's do one more together. Fantastic. So from this forward fold over the left leg, we'll rebend the left knee. Start lifting the spine up just enough that you can reach the hands back behind you. You've still got this really long line from the top of your head through your back heel behind you. Take a couple of deep breaths here as we warm into that front left leg. And eventually we can reach the arms to the sky, clasp the hands together, and bring that little cradle of your hands behind your head, squeeze the elbows in. Begin to lean back, open up under the arms, stretch out a heart space, the front of the body. Take a couple deep breaths all the way down to the belly. Good. Okay, so we'll lengthen the spine out, look forward, straighten the arms, keeping the hands bound. And as you reach them forwards, we're flipping the palms away. Press even more away to separate the shoulder blades and the spine back, just again into this sail-like position. So we're really stretching out the back of the body. Good. Release this shape and just start swinging the arms side to side. Don't think too much about it. Find if you start bringing, some thought into this, it makes it a lot harder. Just let the arms sway and try to anchor through both feet. The next time your right arm reaches forwards, left to the back, keep them there and expand through them. Send the fingertips away from you. You can look anywhere from the front hand to the left side of the room or your left thumb back behind you. Good. So arms will keep reaching away. Just spin yourself so you look forwards. Now the arms are going straight out of the shoulders, left and right. And we'll keep moving around to the right side as the toes pivot around so they're parallel. Good. Enjoy this expansive feeling for one more deep breath, reaching through all limbs and the top of your head. And then those hands can find your waist. Take a deep breath in, growing taller. And as you breathe out from the waist, fold forward. The fingertips might want to come to the ground again. Feel free to just ragdoll it out again. Let everything get loosey-goosey, everything relax. Otherwise, if you'd like to keep going for some more hamstring openers, you can use your hands either on your big toes again, looping them around or holding onto the outer feet. Use that strength in the arms to deepen this by bringing the head down and tailbone up. Now, if you're holding on to anything, slowly unwind as the fingertips crawl forwards, get longer through the spine. We'll take a look towards our left foot and walk around, finding that really long and wide lunge again. So hands on the inside, wiggle your left foot all the way to the edge of the mat and your toes further back behind you. So for this round, we're keeping that back knee up, finding a big stretch into the hips. If you just think about lengthening at the spine and lengthening out both legs. Good. Now, when you feel ready, press into the palms enough that you can step your left foot back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forwards to plank. Exhale, lowering to the stomach or chaturanga. Inhale for your back bend of choice. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, we can melt those knees back to the ground and table and walk your hands towards them to stand tall on top of them. Good, let's bring our hands to waist, lengthen the spine up, keeping everything in one line as we lean back. Pull yourself vertical, lean back, pull yourself back up. Good, weight shifts to the right, left foot steps ahead, hands come to the ground. Bring your right foot forwards as well into a forward fold. Inhale, we can halfway rise. Exhale, float back down. And inhale, rise all the way to stand, stretch the arms overhead. Exhale, mountain pose. Alrighty. With your feet about hip distance, bring a bend into the knees, sit back into your chair. Keeping everything really strong in one line, keep bending those knees a little lower and a little lower. Now let's straighten the legs, fold forwards over them. Take your left leg, stretch it back behind for a lunge, and both hands can find your blocks or tense into the fingers. Now, one time only, we're going to straighten the front leg any amount, and you could consider rocking onto the heel. And if you are choosing that variation, also imagine you're pulling your right hip back further. So kind of like you're plugging your femur bone really into your hip socket. One more deep breath into the back of your right leg. And we can rebend the front knee. Start lifting the chest up towards runner lunge and arms draw back. On your next deep breath in, reach the arms to the sky for high lunge. We can flow back and forth a couple times. Exhale, launch the heart back forwards, arms draw back. Inhale, lengthen everything out. And exhale, arms draw back. One more like this. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Let's inhale back to high lunge. And then we're going to separate the arms. Left one comes forwards, right to the back. Reach out, expand into this twist. Let's begin to spin back forwards. You're looking straight ahead, arms reaching out to the side. And from here, let's just bring the hands behind our back, clasping them together, holding onto opposite elbows. If the hands are binding, right thumb on top. We can draw the hands down the back body, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and begin to peel the heart space back open to the sky and open up your throat. Now, if you want to juice this up for the shoulders, you can always consider just lifting the hands further away from the seat as well. All right, now we'll take the back bend out of it. Look straight ahead. Keep holding on to opposite hands. We're going to pivot the feet open to the left side of the mat, back into our straddle. Take a deep breath in, lifting the spine up. And as you breathe out, fold forwards over yourself. Now for more of a shoulder opener, the hands can lift away from the low back. So if you'd really rather, you're more than welcome to just unlace those hands and bring them down to the mat instead. Now, if your hands are still together, let's all bring them to the low back and unlace them towards the ground. Walk your hands forward slightly, getting a little length here onto the spine. Look towards your right foot and we'll rotate around back to that lizard lunge. So foot all the way to the edge of the mat and lots of length in the back leg as well. This time around, let's lower the knee to the ground. And you might even want to double up the mat because we're going to focus on our back leg through some hamstring curls. Just decide if you want a little extra padding or not, up to you. Let's lean a lot into the left hand and open up into a twist. The knee falls out, the right knee falls out, the right hand comes to the inside of that knee. And you can stay in this twist right here, or try to draw the left heel closer to your seat. And then let's bring it back down to the ground. Do that 2 more times. Lift it, pull it up towards you. Let it draw away. And this last time, you might want to keep it lifted. Option to bring your right hand back behind you to hold onto that foot. Now, if you're holding onto your back foot, let it go without it being a slingshot. Both hands can come back under the shoulders. And let's step back, downward facing dog. Good, an optional flow coming your way. Inhale, bring the shoulders forward to plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale for your back bend of choice. And exhale, downward facing dog. Let's melt the knees down to the ground in table. And then stand tall on top of your shins. All right, we're going to add on slightly this round. So starting the same way, lifting the spine as tall as it can go, waking up the glutes, the thighs, all those lovely pieces. For this first round, we'll just lean back as we have been, and then pull ourselves back up. Now for the second round, let's bring our hands on top of your glutes, so kind of like they're in your back pocket. Point the elbows back behind. Lean back the same way you just had. You can stay here or send the hips forward and the chest open to the sky. One more deep breath. Let's pull the spine back up. And let's sit back onto our heels just for a moment. Let all that blood settle. Good, you might really feel that blood pumping around. All that swirly energy. When you feel ready, we'll stand back up. Step your right foot ahead for a lunge, hands to the ground. Bring your left foot forwards as well into a forward fold. Inhale, lengthen out, halfway lift. Exhale, float back down. Inhale, we'll come all the way up to stand, stretch the arms overhead. Exhale, mountain pose. So feet about hip distance. Bend your knees, sit back into your chair. Go a little lower. And a little lower. Good, now fold straight forwards over the legs as they straighten. Let's send your right leg back behind you to a lunge. Option to bring those blocks under the hands if you like. And we're straightening out the front leg any amount into a hamstring stretch. Let's hold it here. If you're rocking onto the left heel, try to plug that femur back towards your hip. Good, now we can re-bend the front knee. Begin lifting yourself up towards runner's lunge. Arms draw back behind you. Let's move with breath a little bit here. Inhale, lengthen everything out, arms reach to the sky. And exhale, launch back forwards to runners. Everything lengthens out in one line. Good, inhale. Find a gentle back bend as you look to the sky. And exhale, everything in one line. Inhale, arms reach up, last round. And exhale, runner's lunge. Good, we'll use our inhale to lift back up. And use your exhale to explore this twist. Right arm forward, left arm back. Stretch the arms away. We'll hold for a couple of breaths if you want to take a little peek towards your left hand back behind you. Good, now we're going to take our arms with us as we take the rotation out of the spine. Look straight ahead. Now point the thumbs down as the hands start reaching for each other behind your back. And if your hands are clasping, place the left thumb on top. Begin to pull the hands down the back of the body to squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the chest up. And for that bonus shoulder stretch, draw the hands away from the seat. Good, now look straight ahead. Pivot with both feet open to the right side into a straddle. Take a deep breath in here. And as you exhale, fold forwards over yourself. Now, if your hands are still together, bring them to low back till they separate. And walk your fingertips forward to get a little longer into the spine. Look towards your left foot. We'll rotate around towards our lizard lunge. Left foot to the edge of the mat. Right foot wiggles back. Once you've found this shape, you can soften the right knee back behind you and consider again if you want to just double up that mat for extra padding. Stand onto your right palm. Begin to find this twist. The left knee falls out. You can put a little pressure onto the inner knee. And while we're here, we'll also focus on the back leg. Option to pull that right heel towards your seat and then let it draw back away. Pull the heel in for a hamstring curl. Let it come back down. Last round, pull it in. You could keep it there or maybe even bind that left hand back behind. So we can let everything come apart. The shin comes to the ground, both palms under the shoulders. And when you feel ready, step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, come forwards to plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale for your back bend of choice. And exhale, downward facing dog. Now let's all bring our knees to the ground and table. And then stand tall on top of your shins. All right, for this last back bend on our knees here, you can either have the blocks kind of on their highest height by your ankles. And if you're not using blocks today, then just tuck your toes under so your heels are a little closer to you. Hands will come to your waist, lift as tall as you can, and we'll go back with that flat spine to begin. Just one time, lean back, pull yourself back tall. Now this next time we're going back, we're gonna lean back, and you can either reach for the tops of your heels or the tops of your blocks. And then just as we had last time, send the hips forwards and heart to the sky. Now use those big muscles to pull yourself back up. We can just sit back onto our heels as that energy swirls around, blood flows through. Wonderful. Let's stand back up onto the shins. Step your left foot ahead of you, hands to the ground. Bring your right foot forward, and you're going to be in a forward fold. Let's inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, float down. And inhale, we'll come all the way up to stand. Exhale, mountain pose. Wonderful. All right, let's switch the pace a little. Let's bring all of the weight into our right foot. Feel the tripod of your foot holding you there. Get a little lighter on the left toes. Now your left hand is going to turn away from you, so the thumb is pointing out to the side. And we're going to find a hamstring curl by pulling the left heel towards your seat. Good. Now see if you can take hold of the inner foot there and reach the right arm overhead. Now just pause for a moment. Try to send your tail down and your knee down towards the ground, and almost sending your left hip forwards for a bit of a thigh stretch. Good. Now feel free to stay right here or explore a back bend by reaching forward and kicking back into your hands simultaneously for dancer pose. Play around a couple more breaths. And whenever you're ready to come out, just step your left foot back to its own side. Wonderful. Let's switch sides. Bring your weight into your left foot, lighter onto the right toes. Your right hand's going to turn away from you, thumb points out, and then pull your right heel towards your glute. Reach for the inner foot and stretch the left arm up. So just pause for a moment. Everything's reaching in one line, knees reaching down, hip is pushing forwards, head is growing taller to the sky. Now, if you want to invite that back bend in again, start reaching forwards, kicking back in equal amounts. A little dance of push and pull brings us into this big back bend of a balancing pose. Nadarajasana, dancer pose. Couple more breaths, play around. And when you're ready, lift back up and we can come to 2 feet. Wonderful. Alrighty. Let's bring things down to the ground. So from the top of the mat, feet at hip distance, bend your knees one more time, sit back into your chair. Good. From here, fold straight forwards over the legs. This time around, inhale, halfway lift the spine. And exhale, touch the ground, step back to downward facing dog. As you inhale, roll forwards to plank. And as you exhale, we'll lower all the way down to our stomach. All right, let's reach our hands back behind us. So the forehead's facing the ground, chin's tucked in. And get as long in the spine as you can, from the top of the head to the toes. We'll begin to activate the back of our body, this posterior chain we've been focusing on a lot today. So roll your shoulder blades together, tone the glutes, back so the hands can lift, and eventually maybe the toes lift as well. So we're lifting up, but also stretching apart. This is locust, Shalabhasana. Keep breathing. One more deep breath. And let everything return back down. You might want to either place one ear to the mat or just stack your palms under your forehead for a few breaths. Good. Let's set up the same way. Hands back behind you. Lengthen through the spine. Start activating the whole posterior chain. Things begin to lift. Maybe the legs lift as well. And you can stay here in locust or bend your knees, pulling those heels towards you. Now for this round, we're not going to take hold of the ankles, even if we can. Keep it a very active, open chain bow pose. Kind of like you're a skydiver coming down to earth. One more deep breath here. And let everything come back down. Either place the opposite ear to the ground or come back to rest your head on your hands. Let's do one more back bend today. Setting up the same way, hands back behind you. Begin to lift up into locust. You can stay in locust or come to your skydiver pose by bringing the knee or bending the knees, pulling the heels towards you. And this time, you're more than welcome to go ahead and hold onto the feet if you would like. And if you do that, really activate again, kick into the hands. Keep the glutes toned, send the heart space forward, bow pose. One more deep breath. Good, and let everything go right away. Let's press back to child's pose, hips to heels. And we're gonna round the body in the other direction. So rounding over our legs. Let's even bring the hands back behind us so the shoulder heads can drop forward. Might feel nice to just wiggle the hips from side to side a couple times. Begin sitting back onto our heels. And we can swing our legs ahead. Alrighty, let's bring the toes all the way to the top of the mat. And we're gonna prepare to come down to our back. So anchor through the feet, reach the arms forwards. We're gonna do a nice slow C curve of the spine down today. We've done a lot more sort of back bending. So now we're gonna focus a little bit more on the front of the body here. Lots of flexion there as we take our time, slowly, slowly rolling back. Alrighty, when you get there, bring your feet a little closer and as wide as the mat. Let's let our knees fall from side to side a couple of times. Good. When the hips feel loosened up, you can stack the knees towards the sky, then float the feet off the ground. We'll come to happy baby. Hands come from the inside of the legs to hold onto the ankles or outer feet. With big squats kind of facing the ceiling there. Maybe it feels nice to rock from side to side or kick through one heel at a time. And you could also explore straightening both legs at the same time. So it looks again like we're in that forward fold over our legs, but now we're lying on our back. Good. And whenever you're ready, you can bring the feet to the ground and find a final shape that's calling to you. So it might be Shavasana, extending the heels long, or if you'd like to end with a hip opener, maybe you bring the soles of the feet together and knees wide apart. Whatever you choose, make sure it's comfortable. You can allow the eyes to shut so things get a little quieter on the outside. Let your breath take over again. Let's come back to just being aware of the ground that's supporting us and holding us here. As everything gets a little heavier and a little quieter. Begin to send your breath a little deeper. Invite small and familiar movements to your hands and feet. Reach your arms overhead, point your toes far away. And when you feel ready, press your way up to a seat. I want to thank you so much for joining me today, spending this time on yourself. And I look forward to connecting again soon. Have a wonderful week, everyone. So thank you so much, everyone. I just want to let you know we're not going to be meeting this Thursday, so no double up this week. I'll be back next Tuesday, and I believe that we will have another class next Thursday. So we'll reconvene next Tuesday, and I'll just confirm all that with you then, okay? Sound good? All right, thank you so much, everyone. Oh, hi, Brian. I had a feeling it was you behind the sync data, but I wasn't totally sure.
The secret class. I got taken over by kids today.
Nice. Oh, we can do family yoga next time.
For 2 minutes, and then something else will come up.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. All
Okay,
right,
see
nice
you, everyone.
to see you.
Bye.
Have a good one. Bye. Thank you. Bye.